For this week's Smith Business Close-Up, we're on location at the University of Maryland. Joining us is Professor Sandor Boyson, who is a research professor and co-director of the Smith School's Supply Chain Management Center. Sandy, thanks for being with us again.
Great pleasure.
We want to focus on the changes to international trade. What's happening?
There's many profound changes that are occurring, particularly over the last 3 years. And so we're starting to see new trading arrangements between blocks of countries that are forming, and this has a big impact on the United States. For example, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which the U.S. is leading, is attempting to bring together Japan and Southeast Asian countries in a trading bloc that would account for about 35% of the world economy.
So we already do tons of trade with Japan. What will be different?
There'll be many more opportunities for importing and exporting from the United States and to the United States from this bloc of Trans-Pacific Partnership countries. In addition, at the same time, the United States is also spearheading a similar free trading bloc with Europe. So these two things alone are going to really reconfigure world trade in a substantial way.
What are the impediments to getting this done?
We have discovered, and in our research and in my work with the Competitiveness Advisory Committee for Supply Chain of the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, that actually the lack of coordination of technology systems for importing and exporting has really been a major issue, and one that's been difficult and proved to be a barrier to trade. About 6 weeks ago, President Obama issued an executive order that the International Trade Data System, ITDS, which is the major trading system for the United States, it engages 47 different federal agencies in all importing and exporting processes. It is yet to be integrated, and after 15 years of investment, we've yet to actually stand up a system that can compare in its function to that which was implemented, for example, in countries like Singapore going back to about 1989.
You know, when I think about international trade, I think about driving by the Port of Baltimore and you see container ships and containers stacked on the docks or being loaded onto trains. How does the data side of it work?
Well, that's a good example, actually, because the paperwork clearance to unload or load shipments has resulted in the United States having one of the longest throughput times through ports. And it's the hope of the president, I think, and the administration, and certainly our research would support that by bringing together federal agencies into an integrated data system and having their representatives at the port, for example, the paperwork can be streamlined and that throughput can be much faster.
And potentially, from a security standpoint, just as secure or maybe more secure.
Well, because the data would be housed in an integrated system, and that integrated system could have layers of IT protection built onto it, I think it would be more secure.
Right, and lastly, from a state of Maryland standpoint, obviously we do a lot of international trade here. What would the impact be?
Well, again, I think that because we rely so much on two things. One, cybersecurity is an emerging industry here. And so we have a number of specialists who could assist in the building of this national ITDS, or International Trade System. I think that would really be good for the state. And in addition, all of the intermodal facilities, the BWI airport facility, the port facilities, would see, I think, an increase in their efficiency if the paperwork that they relied on for importing and exporting could be streamlined and accelerated.
Very good. Professor Sandor Boyson, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.